Hello, everybody. It's Book Suggestion Saturday again. I know I missed last Saturday. Last weekend was Halloween weekend and it was crazy. I worked all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and I just didn't have the time to do it. So I'm going to combine the book that I was going to do last weekend with the book, another book that will be for this weekend. So it's a Halloween type book. Goulia is the one I was going to do last weekend. So the library had it all decorated up for Halloween, and they had different horror I hate that word horror or scary Halloween themed type books and movies and things on display on top of the shelves and stuff like that, which I thought was cool because I love that sort of thing. And there was a book on display, like this, just on top of the shelf. And it had another book next to it, which is like, I think this is the first book in a series, and I think the other was a third book in the series, not the second. I couldn't find the second one. So I checked out the first book. I haven't read any of the other ones because I want to read them in order. And I've never heard of this before, but the cover intrigued me. It kind of reminds me of The Nightmare Before Christmas with the little white ghostly dog and a girl with big eyes, all ghostly looking, like Corpse Bride or Nightmare Before Christmas sort of situation. I like the way it looks on the inside. There's lots of illustrations, and it's like colorful, but at the same time kind of creepy and black and whitish too. Really detailed illustrations and a lot of writing as well. It was a quick read though, and basically it's Goulia makes new friends, or making new friends can be scary. It kind of reminded me of the Addams Family in a way. I loved this. It's just really creative, the book. Like this is one of the opening pages. It's like a rainy, dark background with the words across. Making friends can be scary if you're a zombie. And then it shows the characters all laid out, which I like. These are the main characters of the story. There's Goulia, and then her aunt that she lives with, Auntie Departed. And there's a cat named Shadow, and the little ghostly dog named Tragedy, and Uncle Misfortune, which is just like a head that sits like on her aunt's dresser or something. He's just like a head. And Granddad Coffin, which looks kind of like a ghost playing chess. And Goulia is kind of a zombie, I guess, a zombie child. And she just wants to have friends. She plays with her little dog, but she wants to have friends. and she's really lonely in this house. It's a big, like a manor, a crumbly manor. This is the house, and it has all these little writing that like points out different things in the pictures, which I think is cool. Like, here's a picture of her in her bedroom, and it points out a whole bunch of little things in her room. Little details. Her aunt tells her that she should never let herself be seen by anyone from the village, especially not by the children. She's worried constantly that they would be discovered and chased out of their home. Then where would they go? What would become of them? But she really wants to make friends. Then she hears the kids talking about Halloween on the other side of the wall of her house, and how they're going to dress up like monsters and ghouls and things. So she thinks that's a perfect opportunity for her to sneak out, and she'll blend right in. So they think she's just wearing a costume, but really it's kind of just the way she looks. This is her meeting the kids. And she makes friends with them. And then they find out that she is a real zombie. And she thinks, they're going to flip out, but really, they love it. They think it's cool. And they accept her. And they're excited. Like, wow, you're a real zombie. That's so cool. And now they're friends. And they come and hang out outside of her manor and stuff. I don't know what any of the other books are about. But I already love this book, so I would like to check out the next books of the series. Now, the next book I'm going to suggest is another book I checked out for the library that I just saw on display, and I was like, ooh. I love the author Beverly Cleary. She wrote the Ramona books, like Ramona Quimby, age 8, and Beezus and Ramona and her mother, and Ramona and her father. I need to reread those books again because it's been a long time since I read them. I think maybe my daughter would like those, so I need to reread them. But I loved reading them when I was a kid. I think maybe my 4th grade teacher was a big fan of Beverly Cleary books and read some to us. Anyways, I remember reading them in school and stuff like that, and so Beverly Cleary is one of my favorite authors. This is a children's book, but it's lengthy and has a lot of words and a lot of pictures. But it was a quick read. Just Like Beverly. A biography of Beverly Cleary. I guess it was written by this Vicki Conrad, but it's a biography of Beverly Cleary. And it goes over her life. And I didn't really know anything about her. I knew that I knew that Ramona was kind of based off of herself. Like, maybe I always pictured that she was a lot like Ramona when she was a kid. maybe looked like her, acted like her, experienced some of the same things as her. When she was a kid, she wasn't into reading. She didn't like reading because the books were boring to her. They were like, Dick and Jane, those type of books. Spot went to the park. He ran, he jumped, he slept. Just boring type of children's books like that. And she was like, where are the books about kids like me? Experiencing things like me, going through things like me. There's not any good, interesting stories. And I would hate reading too if all the books were like that. I would hate it. Her mom had like 2 books. So she read the same 2 books over and over again to her. She loves stories, but she only had those 2 books. And she was starved for new stories. So she made up her own stories. So that's how she got that gift of making up stories and writing. And her mom created a library in the town and got more books in. So she was able to have access to more books. And she fell in love with like the Beatrix Potter books. Stuff like that. And she talks about being a kid and the activities they did, like roller skating and walking on coffee cans, with string. And she did ballet lessons. And then she went to school. And she had a really mean teacher that Beverly Cleary was left-handed. But her teacher was like, you will not write with your left hand. You must write with your right hand. So that was another torture that she had to go through, that she was forced to write with her right hand, even though she was naturally left-handed. Probably because back then they thought it was evil, thought it was the devil if you wrote with the left hand, which is ridiculous. And she got smallpox and had to be like quarantined in her home. And then she was really struggling in school, and she had that horrible teacher. Then she got a much nicer, better teacher that she enjoyed and loved. She wrote some stories, got some recognition as a kid, and she wanted to become a librarian. She went to college to become a librarian. She met her husband at a dance, and her husband really encouraged her and said, you could write a book, you could write a children's book. So she wrote Ribsy, but she called it, his name was originally Spare Ribs and Henry, but they changed it to Ribsy, which I think I've read that. I don't remember it as well as the Ramona books, but then she got it published. And then she wrote all of these other books. Beezus and Ramona, Ramona the Pest, Ramona and her father, The Mouse and the Motorcycle. That's another good one. And then at the end of the children's story book describing her life, then I had like a more grown-up version, autobiography or biography, whatever you call it, at the back with real picture of her. And it was basically going over the same thing, but in more grown-up language. It's a lot of words. And then at the end, there's a timeline, which again goes over everything in her life. Kind of timeline by years. So that's my suggestion. There's another book in this series, Think Smart, Be Fearless, which is the biography of Bill Gates. I'm not as interested in Bill Gates, to be honest, so I don't know if I want to read that one or not. I looked it up online, and there was another one which was about a girl, sports player of some kind. I don't remember what she was exactly, but it was a girl that was involved in sports in some way, and it was her biography. I was thinking it was basketball, but I'm not for sure. It's the, I guess, Growing to Greatness series. Growing to Greatness. So those are the two books that I suggest this Saturday and last Saturday. I'm going to go to bed now. I'm very tired.